not every idea that you can fund for. There is not every idea that you think is perfect. That is why we need an app, or we need something, a basis in which people can actually go, other than you people as well, and you guys included, who can invest in such startups based on the need, market demand, etc. So therefore, we present our plan, the aquarium to the sharks. The concept of the aquarium is very simple. We need to provide for both the investors as well as the startups. If there is a startup that appeals to you, then then you can approach it. As we have shown in the first slide, there was a video in which there is a simple reel in which people openly criticize that the sharks did not purchase this thing, and eventually we can see that this person, he's another person, both of them made a lot of profit. This person made $1 billion when his company was purchased by Amazon. So that means there can be other investors out there who are interested. The people who are investing in others are not limited to just 5 people, and you can also get better exposure by that. How? Let's go into the plan. So our idea is to build an app which will provide for both investors and startups, so that investors can invest in the startups based on their need and demand, as well as the marketplace requirements, using valid algorithms. This idea is not very new, but the concept that we are integrating in these are actually exceptionally innovative and new. For example, many people would have heard of apps like AngelList. Then there is an app called Grow. Then these apps allow you to invest online live with, but these apps also have certain flaws. So we'll go into that later. Now beginning. So our software takes the stage, and we have 3 major target audience. The 3 major people who will be affected by our app. First are the investors. Because they are investing in a company, we need to make sure that they know where to invest. Right now, sharks, it is not 100%. You are aware of the current marketplace scenarios. However, there are other factors that value in as well. Suppose there is a startup that has just started, but it has a very great idea and zero funding right now. However, its marketplace demand is very great, so it can rapidly grow and achieve a stage where it can actually give very good returns, as that $1 billion example in Amazon. So in that cases, these products should also get exposure. So the exposure should not be limited to just the financial aspect of it, but also to the marketplace demands, user demands, as well as other aspects. Investor needs a clear view. Then we value both the investors as well as the entrepreneurs. Therefore, it is very necessary to have good verification so that scams can be avoided. Finally, for entrepreneurs, there are a lot of ideas to the publicity, as I mentioned. So what does our app offers which is new or which can be done better as compared to other apps? First is risk evaluation. Our risk evaluation is done by various methods. Suppose there is a particular product that is coming out in the market, say cameras. Then those cameras need not be in demand because there are other marketplace dominators out there who will simply crush them. So such startups will not come to exist in case such a startup is brought up. So therefore risk evaluation is necessary for both the user as well as the investor. For example, if a startup is liquidating a lot of their assets, then they can also stop them from being rapidly destroyed. Then managing cap tables. Cap tables are currently not managed by a lot of third-party softwares, but by managing these cap tables, we can prevent them from getting messy and we can maintain them. Then finally, allowing options for investors. So as you would have seen other people offering, many people offer equity, many people offer royalty, many people offer just do crowdfunding. So in all these cases, we need to have a collaborative approach. We need to have some sort of discussion between the investor as well as the startup. So therefore, we provide these options so that the person can actually, so that they can actually interact, they can actually bargain live on the platform.
So how are you doing this
Risk evaluation is done by various methods. First is by bank evaluation. The organization called, there are several organizations in India itself which work on risk evaluation, especially for companies, as my teammates Anand and Pranjal will specify later on in the slides. So Other than that, we are also doing KYC and other methods. For risk evaluation and long term, we'll also be using projections using artificial intelligence.
So like, is our idea actually feasible in the current market? The idea, right? The current.
That guy in the is the guy from your team?
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy. Okay.
Actually, let's put a random.
Okay.
So, like the current market scenario in India is like every year there is something like $15 billion of investment in the startups. Out of this, $3.9 billion is from the early investors. We are targeting basically $3.9 billion.
How much percentage was
Out of the net investment of $15 billion, we are targeting
One
the early investors of $3.9 billion, so that we can have the early investors get the value they want from the investors. So we can get the early startups get the value they want from the investors and grow
what
their
is the
business.
basis of this expectation?
What is the basis of the business?
Yeah, like have you done any market research or have you get any invest from market?
As we see, we are seeing the first slide where many of the Shark Tank.
Have you done any ground research or research? Or have you approached any investor that they are interested in?
So we have an estimate derived from government startup information about how much startups would be
So you
interested.
use the government data.
Yeah, we derived an
3.9 billion were in annual report from the government last year.
We are trying to match the startup with their right investors, basically.
Pitch review
That's
process.
our idea. There is a large, there are regularly around 800 deals that are happening in our market right now. And we are trying to at least have some 50 to 60 deals from the traction. Each deal is
What is your target
our target audience is the early and entrepreneurs and startups.
There is a app called something. It starts from M. I'm not recording the name correctly. But it is already meant as a social media for founders and investors. So have you done any competition analysis? Have you
We have taken 4 companies.
It is like social media for founders and investors is a good idea, but it doesn't offer the structured analysis that we do of the companies and the startups.
So structure analysis is your invest.
And other than that, we also offer the risk evaluation and everything else. The risk evaluation is from our side. That's from our side. Next is Anand for the feasibility of this.
Now let we verify. Now we should verify all the initiatives and the we will run background checks on investors. So for that we use SEBI back KYC and NSE KYC. So that
KYC and what is the
NSE. So we will run this before each investor can invest a single rupee. We will run background checks and we will do AML checks. AML is basically anti-money laundering. We'll make sure that our platform is not used for money laundering. And we'll also verify the founders' claims so that they don't make any false claims. We'll verify the accounts. Now go to the next part.
The first, the marketing strategy that we are trying to follow is first focus initially in the initial stages of our startup. We are trying to find 10 to 20 early investors from the batch of 8,000 or 10,000, around 8,000 to 10,000 early investors that we have in India, and use show them a curated batch of 5 to 10 startups that we have shortlisted from a complete list from all the startups that we have gathered, and through that we aim to get their trust and after slowly go out of first this will be a manual operation. Slowly we will go into an app and further into a scaling of the product.
Already saw these investors and startups like the people who have their own PCs and their own strategy for different startups. think that so many mostly hardware startups community like
will curate their own interest with our own startup list and give them a filtered list for their own interests. Like if an investor is really interested in fintech, we will curate fintech startups and
so we're trying to make it as a different portfolio like
every investor will have a portfolio of investments that we are offering them and we will choose from them.
So basically they don't give access to NSE KYC for small companies, right? So how is that?
The even business SEBI, they're not
2 minutes left, so
NSE KYC for investors. Check that
Yeah,
out.
that is fine. But they don't give it to small companies. They don't give the access of NSE KYC data to small companies. Like if you are Grow or Angel or something like that, then they will give you the access.
How you will get their approval for providing KYC? That KYC platform or API.
At the earlier stages, we are only targeting a small number of companies, which means that we'll have all the basic information on them. Also, we'll do personalized check.
How will you like make sure that it's not used for money laundering? Your company can be used for money laundering.
We'll just take
Yeah,
take
share companies can also
check the
have-
source of fund, from where the funds are coming in.
How will you do it?
We have also provided for cap management as well. So we can do cap management by which we can know about the funds.
Can you explain me the tech stack you are using for this?
Cap.
Yeah, cap management and the verification you just told. Structural analysis. Yeah. You are doing it automated or personalized, you are hiring people or you are developing some tech.
First we will give the plan, but further down the line we are trying to put an app automation.
Okay, so from this part of funding, are you going to invest in automation of this? So what are your expected tech development?
We want to develop algorithms so that we can predict the further market dominance and all. So we can
Algorithm for exactly investing and what would that look like?
first we will do market prediction, user demand, scaling, right?
So all this information you will fetch from internet. How you will predict the market of a company?
No, for market we will be fetching trends from them. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. For the scaling rate, we'll fetch from the companies because we know how they are scaling gradually. So I'm sorry for that.
Mostly from the internet and the
Yes.
company, whatever company, because company can provide and manipulate it also, right?
Yes,
So
that's
you have to implement it.
Guys, please wrap up your
And marketing, how you
Marketing is
How will you generate revenue?
all the
revenue generation will later be done in stages with targeted promotions of the companies on our apps and commissions on each of the deals that we work with.
Which are the companies that you are expecting to promote in your
Right now, we are expecting early technical startups that get promoted in our partner model because technical startups need the expertise, they need the expertise of particular investors.
so what range of investment investor can invest. So what is the range your time? 50 crores, like 100 crore or
We are thinking of something like 40 to 20, average 20 lakh of investments. But that is an average value.
Can I ask for clarification? Are you referring to like how much you want to invest or how much they can invest in our app?
yeah, how much they can invest.
Okay.
on your side? from the company was.
Okay, so can you give a competitive analysis?
Yes, sir. We've made an analysis of 4 of our direct competitors, Alias, Wellfound, Republic, and Start Engine, and Arcroft. Now, the main issue with all 4 of these is either it's too complex, otherwise, one is it's too complex, then there is no personalization, there are flaws with risk evaluation. So, then what we do, we make risk more transparent, it is not filtered, the risk evaluation process is completely transparent to the user. Then most of these, they are not engaging, they are static profiles.
How you will manage this for investors? Like, will they? How you will make your what you will trust in investors? Trust in investors. Why they will use your
Trust in investors. We have to start small, then build trust. We don't.
no? What strategy you will follow to build the trust? What is your plan?
To build them trust.
Because if investors don't have trust on the platform, they will simply not use it for finding the company. Right. So you have to follow a certain range of norms and all, regulations and norms. That whatever the investors are seeing companies listed on your platform, they are genuine and their money will be safe. So have you any plan for that?
Okay, so Arya, like we quoted the example of angel listers several times. So they began with low friction investments. But the problem with low friction investments is it is very fragile. It is fragile in the sense that you can see the graphs going up and down very rapidly. It is very fragile. However, startups are built gradually. And if in the early stages, we ourselves are going to oversee whatever the startups are going to do. And in the later stages, we are going to be doing a transparent risk evaluation based on the earlier points we have mentioned, all the other earlier points we have mentioned based on algorithms.
So your entrepreneurs is in early stage or what is their stage?
The other entrepreneurs, they can be in early stage as well, they can be in later stage as well, because we intend to share the benefits with them.
So then how do you evaluate the startup?
The startup evaluation, as I mentioned earlier as well, is evaluated on 2 cases which we will combine, but we will not let one dominate to the other. One is the fiscal status of that startup, and the second factor is the idea, the user demand, as well as the marketplace trends.
You need to say investors should have some interest, right?
So how will you start? Right now, do you have anything?
Any implementation? Have you talked to any investor, any market research?
We have done market research. We have done.
So I say yes.
Market means the ground market. Have you gone to any investor and thought that we are building such app? Will you be interested in going with this? Or maybe you have approached any company and proposed the idea that will you join our platform? Any market, ground market, any survey, any form have you submitted to company?
I'm just to be frank, we had to start somewhere. You all are also very sharp. So we can also, you all can also be
For starting, you have to first take your market.
So basically, like I was asking, how will you start? Right now it is 0, right? How will you start?
We'll start with some small, start with
But giving trust, like if I have nothing and I give trust to you, what will be the user? How will you start or change your product?
how will we start building a product? So first of all, we need to first build the trust of, build a trust of we need to let them know that there is actually a framework in place that can protect them as well as that will help. So first we'll register our app, we'll try to get, we'll get considered, I already have that. Helmet from 0, okay, now you have nothing. Okay, we'll first focus on building that and hiring expertise relevant to it, for which we have come to ask for, for which we have come to ask for capital. The capital we will be getting, we will be investing it in hiring the required expertise in building that.
So
right? We haven't patented this because
So
the
that
concept
expert
is
that you bring can actually go with your ideas and build a
the thing is that all of the idea that we have as a whole can be divided into several other parts which are already patented separately. We are just pulling it all together and building one platform which can be better than all of them. So technically that's
Right.
I want to add one more point. I want to add one more point.
You have it. There is lot of.
Yeah. SEBI has a limit of 200 cap per year, but they will be trying to bypass that by like many investors will pool their money and will invest as one investor, so that the cap does they will show up as one investor. We will manage them so that we get the profits.
Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. So but that's a loophole to bypass the
if one of them want to withdraw certainly, then you will be in trouble.
we have to probably like make them sign
as
up.
the investment.